This is the most fascinating video of a tornado this guy's ever seen. Video's about 2 minutes long, and it's worth watching the entire thing. It shows the tornado forming, intensifying, and then destroying everything in its path. And I was like, this is cool as fuck. Actually insane to watch. Like, I feel like these people are very, very calm for the fact that a tornado spout has just formed in front of them. I feel like I'd be freaking out a bit more.
Is that a tornado for real? Holy shit. Oh my god. That's a... What the frick, dude? OMG. Holy shit.
Holy shit is correct.
Holy shit.
Like, just look at all the stuff being picked up. That's wild to see, dude.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the... Oh, I hope everyone's okay over there.
Yeah, it is going through, like, a residential district, so hopefully everyone is okay.
Oh my god.
Look at all the shit being picked up. That's fucking crazy.
Oh holy shit. We better go. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's getting bigger.
Off of the... Holy shit. Oh my god.
Like all the little particles around it. It's like something out of a cartoon.
Oh, I hope they're okay. Oh my god.
We better go. Doesn't fucking move. Oh, just wait.
Holy shit.
We better go. Is scared of tornado. Walks outside of her house to get a better view. I understand that there's like some sort of pond or lake here, and when tornadoes go over water, they lose speed, right? So like, she would have time to skedaddle if it started coming towards her. I still wouldn't want to take that chance, though. She's fearless for the content. She would go into a Japanese forest. The little particles are likely the size of cars. Yeah, they're probably fucking massive since we can see them from this far and on a video. Survival instincts of a Kirsche. True.
Oh my god.
Like, I just would probably leave. I'd probably leave.
Shit.
Unfortunately, you're white, so you're gonna stay there and watch. I'd be so fucking scared, man. 20 times, oh my god. That's just what women do when they see something scary. We can't help it. We turn into an oh my god broken record. Not necessarily the tornado proper you gotta worry about. It's the debris flinging at hundreds of miles per hour. Por que no los dos? Michigan people are built different. Alejandro Trombono, thank you. Typical Arkansas behavior. Good Midwesterner right there. I mean, I'm glad that she got the video, because that's fucking pristine. But holy shit, that's scary. And then there's another video from a different person of that tornado. This was in Union City. I don't know where Union City is. Look at how big that boy is.
Luke, there is a tornado. Holy crap.
I don't know what the fuck that is. We saw that in the other video where there's just like some giant dark colored thing that gets like ripped up and turned into fucking dust.
Tornado.
Like, what is that? That's crazy to see. It rips it up and just turns it to fucking dust, whatever it was.
A house.
A trailer, maybe? Yeah. There's so much stuff flying around it. It's like a boss battle in Final Fantasy, man. Look at all that stuff! Oh yeah, the loud noise. There's like a bicycle frozen into the water. Just think the Victorian houses in that area are way cheaper now. They also probably chopped up quite a bit, to be fair. NYPD confirmed a possible bomb was thrown at anti-Islam protesters by multiple Muslim men in NYC. 2 Muslims have now been arrested for throwing the fused devices filled with nuts and bolts. We don't need these people here. Islam is incompatible with America.
Protester, identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air.
Thank God they're incompetent at building IEDs. Thank God, because that could have been fucking horrific if they had actually exploded.
Before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as...
What is an IED? An improvised explosive device.
Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area and they took both men into custody. This was all captured on NYPD Argus camera.
I'm glad they caught the people. And again, I'm glad the people were incompetent enough that the explosive device did not fucking work. Because that is horrifying. You can have all the security in the world, but if they throw one of those fucking nail bombs at you, This is from the protest. Muslim yells Allahu Akbar while throwing a homemade bomb at anti-Islam protesters in NYC. He's now in custody.
Yo, this nigga threw a bomb, bro. Yo, he threw a bomb. Yo, did he throw a bomb, bro? Nice. That's just stink.
I'm gonna be honest. If somebody like ran up and threw something while screaming Allahu Akbar, I'm gonna be very confused, but I would also be running instead of nonchalantly standing. I would run in the direction that the guy that threw the thing ran in, because that would be the safe direction, actually.
That's just stink. Yo, did he just throw an Allah Akbar bomb, bro?
Oh my God!
That's just stink. Yo, did he just throw an Allah Akbar bomb, bro?
Hey, yo, did he just throw an Allah Akbar bomb, bro? Fuck, I want to have that as an alert. On the one hand, did you just do a heckin' murder? On the other hand, did he just throw an Allahu Akbar bomb, bro? Oh my God.
Yo, that shit stinks. You know damn well that wasn't me, though. That was crazy. He threw an Allah Akbar cocktail at y'all.
He threw an
That was some wild
Allah
shit, bro.
Akbar cocktail. I like this guy.
Good.
Ah!
Yo, this nigga threw a bomb, bro. Yo, he threw a bomb. Yo, did he throw a bomb, bro?
It's okay, he can say it. You love this guy's comments. I love this guy. He's great. Where's the absolute cinema emote when you need it? That's a great question. Patchouli, thank you. If you hear Aloha snack bar, it's time to get out of there. 100%. I'm not fucking standing around waiting to see what he Allahu Akbar'd about. I'm gonna run away and live to read it on the news. Tempers Maximus, thank you. Proof that the competency crisis is so bad, it even affects terrorists. They're not sending their best. And this guy quote retweeted it and said, as an Iranian American who fled the barbaric Islamic Republic, I chose the farthest place on earth from that nightmare, the United States. I came here seeking freedom, safety, and a life without the constant threat of religious tyranny. Now, as an American citizen, I watch in disbelief as mosques sprout like mushrooms across cities. Muslim populations surge in major urban areas. And elected officials from that faith rise one by one into the Senate, mayoralities like New York City's first Muslim mayor, and other powerful positions. It feels like I'm traveling back in time to where I started, and I'm like, come on, again? Do I need to run once more? I've lived under Islamism's grip. I've never seen it spelled Islamism. I know what starts with tolerance and diversity can end in oppression. America, please learn from Iran's tragedy before it is too late. Freedom isn't guaranteed, it must be defended. And then finally, devices hurled at Gracie Mansion protest determined to be highly dangerous IED capable of serious injury or death. The bombs hurled during violent protests near Gracie Mansion on Saturday were real, highly volatile explosive devices, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said on Sunday. Ever notice how the immigrants fleeing oppression love and desire to defend America more than natural-born American college students? It's almost like they know what it's like living under an actual oppressive government. The NYPD bomb squad has conducted a preliminary analysis of a device that was ignited and deployed at a protest yesterday, and has determined that it is not a hoax device or a smoke bomb. It is, in fact, an improvised explosive device that could have caused serious injury or death. You know, it's really weird that, like, back in the day, everyone was like, hey, we're fighting them over there, so we don't have to fight them over here. But then we just imported them, and now we gotta fight them over here. So much for that, I guess. She said that 2 pro-Muslim demonstrators identified as Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi were arrested at the incident, with federal authorities now working with the NYPD. Devices were hurled into the crowd when a group of counter-protesters mobbed a planned anti-Muslim demonstration organized by right-wing agitator Jake Lang. Notice how the article is very carefully sidestepping the fact that the Islamist counter-protesters threw the failed IEDs. You know? I mean, it does say at the bottom, the very last sentence, you know? The very last sentence, they were like, oh, you know, they threw them into the protesters. Mamdani came out and blamed it on white supremacy. Wait, actually? Do you have a link for that? Yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism. Such hate has no place in New York City. It is an affront to our city's values and the unity that defines who we are. What followed was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it is reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are. I want to thank the brave men and women of the NYPD who acted quickly to keep New Yorkers safe. Our officers ran toward danger without hesitation, demonstrating once again the courage and dedication it takes to protect the city every single day. My administration is closely monitoring the situation, and I remain in close contact with our police commissioner. Yeah, that's really interesting that he just calls Jake Lang a white supremacist. That's interesting. And then completely skirts over the fact that it was violent radical Islam yelling Allahu Akbar, throwing the explosive devices. Wow, imagine that. That's kind of crazy. I was gonna say, it's real weird to call Jake Lang a white supremacist when Jake Lang has kissed the wall. It's a very weird thing to do, Mr. Mayor Mamdani. That doesn't look like a white supremacist to me. I don't think someone who has white supremacist ideology would kiss the Jewish wall. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me, man. Holy shit. God didn't save me from my January 6th political prison cell to be a sheep, but to be a lion. Today I'm officially announcing I'll be joining the US Marines when we deploy to stand beside our Jewish brothers and destroy the evil Islamic Caliphate in Iran. I can't believe this is from June 2025. How long are we gonna talk about Iran? That's kind of crazy. All right, no volume. That's cool. That's cool. Protect the Holy Land. He's wearing the blanket. I don't know what that is. And then he's kissing the wall. America stands with Israel. So, yeah, I don't think Mamdani is correct when he says that this guy is a white supremacist. I just don't think it's possible to hold white supremacist beliefs and also kiss the wall. I think that's incompatible. NetEase cuts off funding to Nagoshi Studio. NetEase Games is set to cut off funding to Nagoshi, the team formed by Yakuza creator Toshihiro Nagoshi, to produce their new action-adventure game, Gang of Dragon. The new report via Bloomberg had a spokesperson from NetEase confirm they're cutting off funding to Nagoshi's team sometime in May of this year as part of their broader strategy to cut back on game development costs. Nagoshi's team was reportedly told the news on Friday, March 6th. Nagoshi Studio was formed by the legendary creator back in 2022 after he made his name at Sega for many years. Though the company was formed wholly as a subsidiary of NetEase, both Tencent and NetEase were reportedly competing to get Nagoshi to lead an internal team as a part of their overseas expansion. It wasn't until last year's Game Awards, nearly 4 years later, that the team's first game, Gang of Dragon, was revealed to the world. It features a realistic visual style like Nagoshi's wildly popular Yakuza series, and features a focus on action and organized crime, also like the Yakuza series. Another team that was formed prior to Nagoshi's team to foster NetEase's expansion into a global market was Visions of Mana developer Oka Studios. While that game was critically acclaimed and sold well, their team was shut down in late 2024 while Nagoshi's team was given time to finish their game. The decision to cut off Nagoshi Studios' funding was reportedly made after NetEase found out it would need another 7 billion yen, around $44.4 million, to finish development on the game. Furthermore, Nagoshi had already been searching for new sponsors to cover the remaining funding of the game, but has reportedly been unsuccessful so far. The team is in discussions with NetEase on how to handle what has been made for the game thus far. NetEase will reportedly let Nagoshi Studio continue on their own and go independent, though they must pony up the associated costs for the game properties and the studio's brand to buy their way out. That's kind of sad to see. That's kind of sad to see, especially when they say that the other Oka studios, with Visions of Mana being like a critically acclaimed, well-selling game, and they still shut down the studio. That's kind of depressing. We looked over our expenses and realized that if we just decided to not pay for game making, we wouldn't have to spend money on making games. This is also something I would like to do. Like, if I ever got to like Asmongold levels of having wealth, I would love to be able to just spend money on game studios making games that I would like to see, that aren't chock full of like DEI nonsense. Just like normal fucking RPGs, man. Nagoshi dug his own grave, to be fair. I don't know how he would have dug his own grave. Like maybe he didn't realize how much the game would cost to make. I don't know, but it's still sad to see, especially coming from fucking Yakuza devs, right? The Yakuza games, I haven't played all of the Yakuza games. I played fucking Judgment, and I got like halfway through the second Judgment before just stuff took me away, and I'm gonna have to replay that game from the beginning, buddy. But it's like, those are games I really want to play. And I really liked Judgment. Judgment was fucking amazing. So, there was something going on with Helldivers as well. And I don't play Helldivers, and a lot of people decided to give Helldivers benefit of the doubt after all of the like weird shit going on with their community managers like a year or two ago. Can't remember how long it was. Time is a mystery to me. But it turns out that the problematic community manager, who was a community manager back then that we all eviscerated on a million different streams, Baskinator, is still the community manager, and she actually pops up in whatever the fuck this new drama is going on, which I shouldn't call it drama, because a guy both lost his job and also was kicked out of like this sanctuary charity thing that he did. So like, holy fuck, what the actual hell is going on? So this is a Helldivers Now account saying the doxed OP of the challenge has been banned from the horse sanctuary he volunteered on since 2011 and has been fired from his job. And this was the first post I saw about anything going on, so I was like, what the fuck is happening? And the screenshot says, hey, this is a copy-paste message I'll be sending to everyone that messaged me in good faith because I think it's rude to not reply, but please understand that I do have to do this to reply to the messages because of the sheer amount of them. Don't take personally the fact that I can't give a specific response to every single one. This guy has like my level of anxiety. I've been banned from the horse sanctuary. I've been volunteering since 2011 for security reasons, which is understandable. They're just trying to get by and they can't deal with this. And and fired from my job at the electrical company after 7 years. My life got basically ruined overnight for something that I thought would be fun and productive toward a game I loved and passionately supported. I'm not really an internet person, and my online presence is mostly for friends and family. I'll be stepping away from the community, Reddit, and the video game as a whole. I'm completely and undoubtedly done. Thanks for the support and the kind words to everyone. See you guys later. I was like, what the fuck happened? That people on Reddit, like, got this guy removed from a horse sanctuary and fired from his job. What the actual fuck? Yeah, Redditors aren't human. Case 1 billion. Unfortunate news from the D10 charity challenge person. As the pinned comment shows, the post was pre-approved. I messaged the mods. Please be civil in the comments. Still don't get why people attacked him. What did he do other than challenging devs to play at difficulty 10? Seems something pretty innocent. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what? Why were people so angry? And Permaband here. Thankfully, Permaband has been documenting stuff. I haven't read all of it, but let's go to this first tweet. Bless Permaband with all of the context, bro. This is an absolutely disgusting state of affairs. Some Helldivers to Glaze divers, showing how low they are willing to go with this one to defend their multi-million-dollar company, devs who can do no wrong. Be Helldivers 2 player, issue a good-natured challenge to devs. 4 devs play a difficulty 10 game in Oshan, and complete all objectives to see if devs actually got their balancing right. Player will pay $1,000 to the dev's charity of choice when they complete the challenge, willing to sign a binding contract even. Then, some of those glaze divers dox the player's home and work address, send harassment to his social media, and send death threats to him. They target his wife, too. Harasses an animal sanctuary he volunteers in. It is absolutely depraved behavior. I don't have any other good way to describe what this is. I thought the situation with Raven was rock bottom with anything Helldivers related. I guess I was very wrong about that. If you are one of the glaze divers who did this to a random player, or you're supporting or defending what the other glaze divers have done to him, I think it's about time you really reassess the type of person you are. I've said this like a handful of times, where there were a lot of people doing victory laps about how woke is dead and cancel culture is dead. And I was sitting here, like, yelling from the treetops, like, no, none of this is dead. You can kind of view it as on the way out, but there's going to be a lot more happening before it's actually gone. And if you think these people are going to give up any ounce of power without, like, a fight, boy, you are retarded. And this isn't even, like, a political thing. These are just people who want to have power over others and can use cancel mob to do it. Woke is a turncoat, it'll just change uniforms. Yep, they're gonna fight harder. They're gonna fight harder, and especially after, like, Advanced GG bending the knee, Makeship bending the knee, all this shit with Mythic currently, this is going to embolden them to go further than they did before. They were already in the death throes of being angry that they were losing power. These 3 companies bending the knee and capitulating has just breathed new life into a fire that everyone was trying to trample out. All you have to do is just not pay attention to the mob. If you don't give them the power that they want, they have nothing. And it's frustrating that companies are still going to bend the knee over this shit. Get some screenshots. This is a serious offer. Oshan, long live the divers. I will donate 1,000 USD to a charity of Arrowhead's choosing if they upload a video of 4 of their developers playing an entire operation on Oshan on difficulty 10 and completing all objectives on all 3 missions on the current MO. No modifications, no funny business, play on the current state of the game, show us how it's done and how well the game's balance is. I will provide my full real information, proof of payment, and I'm willing to sign a legally binding contract. This doesn't seem like anyone should have been angry about it. And then the challenge is over. You think the devs will listen to your bitch ass kill yourself retard? He said, I've received dozens upon dozens of messages like this since I first issued the challenge. For my own well-being, I'll be stepping off Reddit and the community as a whole. Stop trying to contact me. The challenge is officially over on my part. Thanks for everyone that supported with kind words, but I really can't take the barrage of hate. See you guys later. And I still don't understand why there even was a barrage of hate. It doesn't make any sense. Like, this guy just wanted to give money to charity and have the fucking devs play their game. What is the issue here? Seems it got worse. Disappointing news from the D10 charity challenge person. Okay, this is the copy-paste message that we read on the other tweet. They're covering up the fact that they don't currently have a balance team. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. And Permaband continued with another post. Says, oh, so the community manager could have done something but chose not to. Is that the message that I'm getting? And now, days after, with all the damage being done, she pays lip service and goes, bullying is bad. Ah yes, some cheap lip service is going to give back that player's job, undox him, and unharass his family. And this is Baskinator saying, please just be kind to one another. I've been out sick all week and I'm genuinely horrified to see this happening in our subreddit. Someone responded, you need to purge the entire mod team of the subreddit. And Baskinator said, the subreddit is community owned and operated, always has been. They invited me to have the mod role so I could bypass spam filters and use post tools only. So you're saying that you can purge the mod team, but you won't. His quote-unquote friendly challenge insinuated that the devs did not balance the new map, which is completely unacceptable and requires doxing and death threats, obviously. I don't understand that way of thinking. It's so fucking weird. Block me all you want, Helldivers 2 community manager. You're supposed to manage the community, and look at what happened when it was time for you to actually do your job. Literally playing Helldivers 2 right now. Fun game, a lot of issues. Yeah, I would not want to touch that game with the way that their team is. If the community manager can't do anything to manage the community, then why are they there? Vibes? Because she has the right politics. Looks like those was one of the Reddit posts that kickstarted the cruel harassment of the Helldivers 2 player who issued the D10 challenge. The player is now fired from his job, kicked out of the animal sanctuary he volunteers in because of all the hate and harassment. Good job, Glazed Diver OP. Really good job. Really fighting the toxicity there. What a fucking two-faced joke. You want to look for toxicity. Look at a mirror. And it's a post that says, bullying under the guise of charity is still bullying, and I am ashamed of this community for it. I've never seen a developer bullied this hard, and there are plenty who actually deserve it, but I'm sickened that the chronically online Helldivers resorted to staging a charity with the intent of getting specific developers to bow to the community to perform a specific task with the full intent of embarrassing them. That is intimidation, that is harassment, and that is toxic. The fact that this community will hide behind it's for charity makes me ill. What a fucking retard. What an absolute, like, drooling mong. What the actual fuck am I reading? Why redact the name? That's a good question. Again, this just makes me think of, like, when everybody got fed up with NMAS and decided to stop paying their Terra subscription. Would that be bullying? Is that intimidation when the paying customer is upset? Reddit team gave me the role so I can use tools when I post something with my username, but I'm not a mod or admin. I'm there to read and reply. Well, that seems kind of weird. If you have the admin role and you have the admin tools, could you not do something when they're actively trying to get someone fired from their job? Like, if you're in the admin role and you're part of the, like, actual official community management team as well, that kind of just makes it look real bad, actually. If there's anything I can do to help, I will do it. Unfortunately, we don't know who made those threats. It's sickening. Couldn't you, like, I don't know, contact the guy? I don't know what they could do now that he's been fired. Realistically, I don't know how you walk back something like that unless you get his work to rehire him. How do they not know? Willful ignorance, right? Be okay if Reddit was shut down entirely. The thing has become a cesspool. You see, the thing about that is look at what happened after Tumblr got shut down, man. And this other person said, the worst person you'll ever meet will watch the community they're supposed to manage harass you, send death threats, and get you fired from your job. Oh, it's not at a nonprofit, but fired from his job and from a nonprofit for offering $1,000 for charity if devs can beat their own game on the hardest difficulty. Then soyishly tweet out a vague, be kind, guys, a month later with the excuse, I was on break. Even if the hardest difficulty, I don't know if it's balanced. Let's just pretend in a hypothetical situation, it is balanced. But the devs don't play their own game often enough because they're developers, they're doing developer things. And so they can't beat it on the hardest difficulty, even though it is balanced. A charity would get money. And again, I'm gonna go back to Terra. The Gameforge guys, they weren't the greatest at playing Terra. They weren't the best players, but they still played the game occasionally to understand what the market was like, what players were lacking in, and what they could possibly do to help the economy and the gear progression in the game. So it didn't matter that they weren't, like, amazing top-tier players at the game. They cared about the game and they cared about their community, and that's why people liked them. You don't think you can take a job back from the company that fired you? Yeah, I would feel like they will never have my back, you know? Take it with a grain of salt, but an interesting story, even if it's not true. This guy, Dustin Grage, says husband, father, columnist at townhall.com, political analysis and research, the Minnesota guy with the receipts. Well, that's kind of ironic, considering there's no receipts for this. But he said, today I heard ICE was monitoring an illegal alien in Minnesota. Guess what the liberal neighbor by him decided to do? They tipped him off with a note. We've now discovered this individual was a convicted sex offender. He has since fled and gone into hiding. Good job, libs. And then he quote retweeted himself and said, full background without giving away too much information. No, the bleeding heart liberal didn't know this individual was a convicted sex offender. They actually felt horrible when they found out. Yeah, I don't care if they feel horrible. This is kind of like you reap what you sow, bro. You are just listening, not him, but like the liberal person, if they exist. One person is just listening wholesale to the like, ICE is going around abducting innocent people and Americans and deporting them, and that's just not happening. And so they're out here defending actual criminals above the simple fact of the criminality of just entering our country illegally. I hate how I have to like describe it this way because it's like criminal illegal doesn't make sense because they're already a criminal, but criminal illegal is like the shortest shorthand way to explain that they've done something beyond just committing the crime of entering illegally. It's fucking obnoxious though. Either way, he continues, what makes this story so infuriating is that this person had been convinced by the news they consumed that ICE is out here terrorizing brown people simply because of their skin color. In their mind, there was no possibility that ICE could be acting in good faith. How could quote unquote literal Nazis be going after hardened criminals in the community who have had a deportation order from over a decade ago? Meanwhile, they had a convicted sex offender living near their home and didn't even know it. And now that person is out of reach again. I mostly blame the media. They helped create the environment. Now we have these liberals running around in organized signal chats, impeding on federal law enforcement, which is shielding monsters from accountability. And I say, yes, obviously the majority of the blame belongs on the propagandists and on the media and on the politicians who are pushing that talking point. But that does not remove all accountability from the bleeding heart liberal. It doesn't matter that they didn't know, they decided to involve themselves. I don't know how you could like take away their agency and treat them like a child and be like, it's okay, you let that sex offender go. You didn't know. You thought you were protecting a brown person. That's a good human thing to do. Like, what are we doing here? What is this? And it's like, that's why I said, even if this particular story, because there's no receipts, even if this one isn't real, they are out there protesting. They are out there actively impeding ICE agents from arresting people with crazy records. There was that one liberal woman who was crying on camera when they walked out that like old Chinese guy. And everyone's like, how could you do this? This is a violation of human rights. And everyone's like, well, he was roommates with a pedophile sex offender, so... Jason Cohen said, new unhinged James Carville. Look, you fat fuck Trump. If you listen to this, you'll listen good. What the fuck? What the... Grok, is this real? He's an old Democrat strategist. What the frick? He's a longtime high-level Democrat strategist. He was big in with the Clintons. Interesting.
Look, you fat fuck Trump. If you listen to this, you listen good. Because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of fucking people. You hear me, you fat asshole?
Do you?
This is what we believe. You're right. I got Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker. And you know what?
Oh my God. The way he said, I hate that motherfucker, made me think of like those really old black and white racist movies. I'm just going to replay that again.
Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker. And you know what?
God.
I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. I want to hate him more. I pray to God in heaven, God reign the righteous reign of Trump derangement syndrome. Pray for me, Lord.
Oh my God, he's spitting on us. Oh man, spitting. But also, that's really mentally unwell. Like, you know, I'm all for, like, holding grudges to people who have, like, personally fucked you over. Like, yeah, pray for their downfall, but you don't gotta be active in your hatred for them, you know? But asking God to imbue you with the ability to hate further than you already hate, that's a little weird, bro. That's a little fucked up. That's a little, like, you can hold hate in your heart for someone and then just be like, well, I'm not going to think about it 24/7 because that's unhealthy.
I'm your vessel on this earth. Pray for the people that listen to this. We want more. We want to hate the son of a bitch so much that we can't see straight.
That's such a weird thing to say. Oh, he kind of reminds me of the consequences will never be the same. So Curtis Yarvin says the West has no balls now and will simply turn into South Africa. And I feel like we kind of had a mini discussion on this the other day, and I was like, I would like to see us fix things. I would like to see things start to get better. I would like for things to get better through peaceful means, if at all possible. But I always have that little niggling feeling in the back of my brain where it's like, I don't know how much faith I have in that happening. And it feels like South Africa is probably a more projected place we will end up, because even in the microcosm of like creator nonsense, there are people who will not stand up for things that should be called out, and there are people who will eschew principles in order to have comfortability. And if they can't even do something in like a microcosm of like content creation, do you really think we're gonna have enough people to like actually make massive change that is necessary to reverse the destruction of our country? And it's like, I get black-pilled on occasion when I think about that, because it's like I would like for so many people to do things. And that's why I try and encourage people, like, get involved in your local politics, for the love of God. If people get involved in their local politics and they can get people and field people as decent candidates and get rid of the spineless do-nothings and have more people in positions to actually do something, then progress can finally start being made. You're so tired of trying to win legally when playing the game has been made illegal? It's not even playing the game has been made illegal. Talking about playing the game will get you lambasted. It's fucking ridiculous.
What you're seeing, especially in what used to be called the White Dominions, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, especially, is you're seeing they're starting to speed run. They're starting to come out of their crouch and basically just be like, yeah, actually, in the 21st century, I think they've increased the population of Canada by like 35%. Right. And so
that's pretty big.
Even that is small. The Spanish government was just like, we're going to legalize 500,000. Oh, but that's just an estimate. That's just an estimate of how many people that plan will suck in. It probably will be more like over 1 million.
This guy's hair, it's very French.
Right. And so, and those people are Schengen. They can go anywhere in Europe. And you will see them do that. And And so what you could see in the U.S., if basically the next time Democrats win the presidency, people talk about like mass immigration. Like, no. It
is over. It is like, I will turn to the black pill and I will consume it. If there's a full Democrat election, I do not think we will be able to reverse things if a Democrat gets elected to the presidency next. I think that all of the, but if we use it, they will use it against us nonsense doesn't matter, because they already want us dead. What could they possibly do? If they're already winning their seats in places like Virginia with outwardly saying, I want to see Republicans dead, I would like to see their children bleed out in their arms. What are you worried about them using against us at this point, honestly? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Do not consume the black pill. The powder keg is just waiting for a match. I mean, that's still like 3 years away. Yeah, so we have time. But it's like there are so many influencers, I suppose, who tried to convince people like, yeah, hold them hostage and tell Republicans like you won't vote for them if they don't do what you want. That's not gonna. They don't care. They don't care. They're not public servants anymore. They are an elite class who are there to serve themselves and not you. So trying to strong arm them isn't gonna make them do anything. And voting for the Democrats or letting Democrats take more seats is just hastily running into more destruction. And so, like, I don't understand the accelerationist people, because it's like, that didn't work in South Africa, man. Like, look at where they are. I don't exactly know why you think it would work here. People, not Kirsche, who complain about Yarvin say he is blackpilling and Jewish. What? But they don't point out where he is wrong. I don't think he's blackpilling here. I think he's doing a thing that I do, where it's like pointing out trends and being like, I can see this being what's happening and why this is happening. And then people are like, well, he's just being a doomer. And it's like, I don't think he is. I think he's just using his eyes and his brain.
We've not seen mass immigration. We have no idea what mass immigration is. Mass immigration is not 2 million people entering the U.S. a year. Mass immigration starts, I would not call it mass until it was like 10 a year. And like mass immigration is really the 10 to 50 to 100 million a year.
But that's what could spark civil war.
No.
I don't know. I'm seeing it here.
No, because people have no balls. People have no balls. And actually, like, you know, they will not resist. They will not resist. All of, you know, the thought that they will get their muskets and put on their tri-cornered hats or whatever. You know, when you go back into the period when people actually did this, you're just like, fuck, these people are completely alien to us. Never happen. It won't happen at all. What will happen is exactly what happened in South Africa, which is they will just acknowledge that they've lost all of their power forever. Then they will sit quietly in their houses and build more and more barbed wire and electric fences until finally they are exterminated in one big pogrom. That's the future. That's what will happen to your children.
And I see this more of like, I don't think he's blackpilling. I think he's giving it as like a warning. As like, if you don't wake up and start actively trying to do something about your future, this is what your future will be. And I completely agree with him. I completely fucking agree. And when people are like, oh, don't worry about it, you know, people will get tired. They will, you know, pick up their muskets or whatever. It's like, they won't. What happened during COVID? Even the people who were complaining, they were still complacent. There wasn't anything that went crazy bad, even when politicians were outwardly shirking the rules that they gave to everybody else. We saw what happened with January 6th, how everybody got completely turned into some crazy, like, militia martyr kind of person. And that would have tempered the feelings of anyone else for doing any kind of uprising, unless you're on the right side of history, because you were told it's fine to go out and protest these things. That's more important than COVID. And then there was this guy who quote retweeted the video we just watched, and he said, lots of people dismiss this video as demoralization because of his tone and how he phrases it. But honestly, he brings up a good point. Who's actually out there doing anything to keep things from getting worse? The answer is pretty much no one, which is unfortunately true. We have the little glimmers of hope in things like Restore Britain, in things like I've talked about happening in New Hampshire, in things like Brendan Herrera winning his seat. We do have little glimmers of hope, but we need it on a much larger scale. We need many more people to get involved. Liking posts or saying remigration online all the time like some Harry Potter curse is not going to change anything. It's just feel-good noise and makes you feel involved without actually doing anything. White flight isn't going to solve the problem either. It's just running from it, which only speeds up the decline for everyone else. And this is like, so many people will be like, oh, you know, when America collapses, I'll just go somewhere else. And I've always said, where the fuck are you gonna go? All of the people who have escaped communist nations and they come here will immediately say, I'm glad I had the United States to escape to. If the US falls, where will you go? There's nowhere else like the United States on the planet, and you're not going to be able to find life like in the US anywhere else. If the US falls, that's it. It's over. EHEF, thank you. You think Curtis is wrong? There seems to be much noticing happening? Well, this is what this guy's talking about. Noticing doesn't matter if you don't put any action behind that, which is why I encourage people to get involved in local politics. It's like, that is something near anyone can feasibly be able to do. The hardest pill for everyone to swallow is we're scared of sacrificing and losing our comfortable lives. The house, the schedule, the safety, because if we actually step up and it goes wrong, prison could wipe it all out anyways. That double-layered fear is the biggest roadblock holding everyone back. And I 100% agree with this as well, and I kind of touched on it earlier, where it's like, if people aren't willing to stand up and protect things that they claim to care about, they don't actually care about those things. They might claim to, but they're not going to do anything to actually protect those things. And it is a fear, and this environment of fear has been stoked for many, many years. I said years ago when the Daniel Penny thing happened that the people in our country who have control of things are trying to make this more like China in the way that if you see somebody needing help, if you see somebody being attacked, if you see something bad happening, no, you don't. You don't see that. Nothing's happening and you don't get involved. And we've sort of degraded along that path, and denigrating men when they try to be heroes is part of it. And the more that men are denigrated and told we will punish you for being a hero, the less men will try and do anything to help anyone just out on the street. And we had a stabbing recently that I'll bring up, where the guy was stabbed and he was begging for people to call 911, and almost everyone was either ignoring him, walking by him, just not even paying attention to what is happening. And is that the kind of world that we want to live in? Where someone gets stabbed in front of you and you're just like, oh, you know, it's just like an ant getting stepped on. I don't have to worry about that. I think that level of callousness for like your fellow countrymen is kind of crazy to me. Like, actually insane. We used to watch like videos coming out of China on like the fucking 4chan boards, right? There'd just be all these crazy instances of like people getting run over, and then you have to run them over multiple times to make sure they're dead, because otherwise, you know, it just gets worse for you, I guess. I don't know. Right, like everybody watching, like as someone gets run over, nobody does anything. A lady just like squats on the street and just gives birth to a baby all over the pavement. Nobody stops. Nobody asks her if she's okay. Nobody does anything. I don't want our country to become that either. And over the past few decades, you know, growing up in like the 90s and the 2000s, I've seen what's happened where like we could go out everywhere and people would be nice and friendly and everyone would talk to each other, to now everybody's really closed off. It feels very strange to have previously lived in a world where I could leave my front door unlocked and leave my car unlocked and just wander around as a child. Well, it's not my car, it's my grandparents' car, but whatever. We could leave the car unlocked, we could leave the front door unlocked. I could wander around as a child and not have to worry about like getting stabbed or abducted. Even in my mom's neighborhood, where we lived around like all these Puerto Ricans fighting each other and like I saw people get shot, I never got fucked with. Nobody ever came over to like the little child. I was like, even in that like microcosm of like high crime, high violence, I was still relatively safe. The sun is a monster, don't go outside. And it feels like that world is completely gone. And you can find it in like certain little pockets of like rural America or like way up in New Hampshire or whatever. But that was like the reality of the entire country at one point. And how did that stop from just a couple of decades ago? It doesn't help that you have people who make the callousness more ingrained in others. There are women who are being attacked, get saved, and then turn around to accuse their rescuers. I mean, that's part of it, right? That's part of the like, no good deed goes unpunished. We need to demonize all of these people trying to be heroes. Everywhere you turn, it's disincentivized to help your fellow man. And I think that has greatly contributed to the way that we feel hostile and distrustful of each other. This guy caps off by saying, before it's too late, we all have to decide what's more important, sacrificing our current comforts to secure a future worth living, or worth having, either way, or holding on tight to this cozy life until it's gone anyway. We can change this future from happening. And I agree. Surveillance footage captures grisly broad daylight stabbing in San Francisco's Chinatown. In the aftermath, a person matching the suspect's description was apprehended nearby. San Francisco's sheriff deputies detained the man, but police officials declined to identify him, citing a pending investigation. completely unprovoked. Like, why did he stab that guy? For what fucking purpose? I like, people are just walking by, they're looking at him and leaving. This guy's just standing there, stunned. Finally, that one person calls 911. Supposedly, you can hear him asking people to call 911 in the footage. I can't hear it, but maybe my hearing's not good enough. The wind is too loud for me, chat. What the fuck? Yeah, literally China. Douglas Mackey saying, man gets stabbed, 0 people rush to help him in this diverse, multicultural hellhole metropolis. Thank you, Douglas. Diverse question mark? Diverse question mark? Can we keep the chain going? And this guy said, heard it with audio. He actually begged people to call 911 and they just looked at him. Didn't even realize it had sound until I saw this comment. Do we know this guy's condition? Unprovoked San Francisco stabbing exposes woke policy that critics say shields suspects. The San Francisco Police Department is barred from sharing the mugshot of the suspect who viciously stabbed a pedestrian in a terrifying unprovoked attack because of a woke policy enacted in 2020, which is being ripped by frightened residents. The unhinged knifeman was caught on camera creeping up behind the unsuspecting man in Chinatown and stabbing him in the back. San Franciscans are being prohibited from seeing the attacker's face following his arrest. And I think this is another stark, get involved in your local politics. Because this was enacted in 2020, and only now, 6 years later, are people like, wait a minute, that sounds kind of bad. Why do we have this? This possibly could have been stopped from being implemented in 2020 if more people were paying attention. Maybe not, because we know what kind of people live in San Francisco, the very left types, but still, it would have been a possibility. The SFPD implemented a strict policy in July 2020 that banned the release of most booking photos to avoid perpetuating racial stereotypes. This policy emerges from compelling research suggesting that the widespread publication of police booking photos in the news and on social media creates an illusory correlation for viewers that fosters racial bias and vastly overstates the propensity of black and brown men to engage in criminal behavior. The San Francisco chief of police said at the time, William Scott said in a statement announcing the policy, if you're worried that there are too many mugshots of black and brown people, thus more people would potentially become racist because they see this quote-unquote illusory correlation, maybe you should address the core issue of why the mugshots appear more frequently, potentially. Like telling people we can't show you mugshots because you'll make a connection that's not really there doesn't really help. That actually solidifies the connection. The more you try to hide it, the more people are going to get suspicious. So maybe address like an actual problem instead of trying to cover things up.
Noticing is bad. Noticing is very, very naughty.
The policy allows mugshots to be released to the media only when deemed, quote-unquote, necessary to warn the public of imminent danger or to enlist the public's assistance in locating individuals, including at-risk persons. I don't know, man. It feels like a guy who's gonna randomly stab people would be necessary to warn the public of imminent danger. I don't know, man. All this does is train people to notice more. Critics who believe they have a right to see what the suspect looks like ripped the policy on social media, saying it unfairly protects suspected criminals over the public. And they're right. They're right. Chinatown, San Francisco, man stabbed in the back while waiting to cross the street. San Francisco Police Department has suspect in custody, but zero info released. No mugshot. Gotta protect the attacker from discrimination. Priorities straight, shield the criminal, let the public stay blind. Another echoed the anger, posting, a pedestrian waiting to cross is stabbed from behind. Police say a suspect is detained, but no name, no photo released. Criminal privacy comes first while the public stays in the dark. We're not allowed to see the faces of men who go around stabbing people at random, a third person crowed. Others argued that protecting suspects accused of violent crimes only encourages further criminal behavior, and that the policy itself is prejudiced. It is. I don't get it. These people say releasing mugshots is racist. Why would that be the case? We should not be judging people based on the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, the confused commentator insisted. This is actually another good point. If they're literally saying releasing mugshots is racist, doesn't that kind of admit that they know the majority of mugshots released are going to be from a certain sect of people? If they just didn't say anything at all, there'd probably be less people noticing any correlation. They would just be like, oh, look, another mugshot. Let's go about my day. Why do you want us to release their mugshot? You'll see them on the streets in a couple of days. Jesus Christ. The shocking surveillance footage of the daylight attack shows the stunned pedestrian clutching his back and staggering before he collapses onto the pavement. When officers arrived, they found the victim suffering from a stab wound and he was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Investigators later located a suspect matching the description provided by witnesses near the 600 block of Powell Street, where he was detained without incident and taken into custody. The Post reached out to the San Francisco Police Department for comment, but they said that there are no updates to give at this time. Meanwhile, the public remains in the dark. I was waiting for the bus in Chinatown, so he was probably Asian. What do we know about why hashtag Stop Asian Hate fell off? Gee, I wonder.